On tonight's show, we have entrepreneur and author of the Witty Kids Club book series, Rebecca T. Clark.
And now for your host, KoolKard.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Kickin with KoolKard show. I am your host, KoolKard. Welcome to episode 55. This is gonna be my last show of 2020, y'all. Man, y'all stuck in here. Y'all hung out with me. 55 episodes. Man, I'm blessed. Thank you guys for anybody who has ever tuned in, shared the show, liked it, commented, whatever. You've all been a part of the journey, and I really appreciate you guys. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. I hope you spent it with friends, family, and loved ones, and you got everything that you wanted. Even though it's not all about material stuff, it is cool to get cool things here and there, you know, every now and then, whatever. But I hope that you got to spend time with family. I know I did. Went out of town, kicking in the mountains, snow, all that good stuff. Got in tune with nature. Man, it was a blessing. So yeah, I just pray that everybody is able to just have a good time, spend it with family. Even if you didn't get gifts, just get love. You know what I mean? Get love. Give your time, get some time from people you haven't seen in a while, or just the people around you, you know, because we get busy lives, we got busy schedules, and we just get caught up and don't spend the time. So happy holidays. The new year is coming, 2021. Man, 2020 is over. I know there's a lot of people who they can't wait for 2020 to be over with and see what the new year brings. But, you know, there's some people who have thrived also in 2020. It was a blessing for some people, silver linings in it, opportunities. You know, I had some opportunities in 2020, so I can't say it was all bad. But, you know, I feel for everybody who kind of went through it. And also people that lost their lives. That, you know, my heart goes out to the families and them. You know, rest in peace. It's just a sad thing. All right. Hey, tonight I have an author and an entrepreneur. Her name is Rebecca T. Clark. Now, she is running a little late. So I don't know if she's having technical difficulties with her technology or computer or whatever it is, but she's not on the line yet. But if she does come in, I'll bring her on in. So right now, I'm just gonna talk to you guys. I feel like, hey, it's the season for giving. Why not I give you a piece of my mind? It'll be a real talk show tonight. So yeah, I think you know, and if she doesn't show up, it's not a setback. It's an opportunity, you know, for me to just kind of get in here and talk to you guys one-on-one and grow with you guys. You got to look at setbacks as opportunities in life anyway, you know. And you know, it makes you stronger, you know. Things that are unforeseen that come about, you got to figure out how to adjust. And it just makes you a better person, makes you strive for greatness, makes you adjust, makes you be creative. And creativity in anything that you do is key, because you have to be able to adjust. You got so many, you know, big box stores, retailers, companies that fold because they can't adjust. They can't even adjust to social media. They can't get social media right. You know, if you're not on social media right now, you're probably not doing too well, unless your brand's like, I mean, even Ralph Lauren is on social media. Even I think Bentley is on social media. Rolls Royce is on social media. They don't do too many commercials, but they're on social media. So you got to be able to adjust and just figure it out, man. Figure it out. You got dreams out here. You got goals. If they're stagnant, and they're not moving, you might want to kind of take a step back, create a goal or a vision board, and kind of recalculate some things on what you're doing, how you're doing it, and figure some new things out. You know, get some new inspiration, do something new. You know, the definition of insanity is what? Continue to do the same thing and want the same and want different results. It's not gonna happen. All right. So for me, I know for my show in 2021, I'm gonna be changing some things up. Not much, you know, changing some things up just so I can get to that next level. You know what I'm saying? I'm at 55 shows now, so I think it's time to grow. I'm midway to a century mark. It's time to grow. It's time to go up and just keep leveling up and just, you know, having my vision reach a little bit further than I already see what the end point is, and it's not an end goal, but it is a milestone that I'm trying to reach, which is get my own talk show. And I know it's coming. It's gonna come. I'm gonna keep working at it. And it's all about just being consistent. You know, there's gonna be times where you feel like, man, nobody's watching or nobody's listening, nobody's tuning in, nobody's liking my Instagram stuff. You know, if you're on there trying to promote for business and nobody's liking it, here's a key though. Put up some videos on Instagram. That'll show you the real numbers of who your posts are reaching, because it's gonna show you the views, and all those views are probably not gonna hit that like button, but they did see it. So if you want to know how many people you're really reaching, other than just looking at the analytics, put up a video. All right, create video content. Video content goes a little bit further than just still images anyway, because people like to be entertained. People like things in motion. That sticks with them a little bit longer because they can interact with it. It can pull on their heartstrings, pull on their emotions. Put up some videos, and that'll be the true tell sign of how many people are actually just watching you do what you do and not really supporting what you do. Because you're gonna have people that say they support you, but they're not active supporters. And you know what? Sometimes that's okay, as long as they're watching, as long as they're looking, as long as they're seeing what you're doing. It's not in vain. Your efforts aren't in vain. You know, you're still reaching people. But would you like the engagement? Yes, we all would like the engagement. But I'm just saying this. I said all that to say this. If you're not getting the results that you want, recalibrate, recalculate, and just go in a different direction. Not a different direction, but just change some things up and go about it a different way. All right? That's just what it is, man. I'm not trying. I'm doing. I got a lineup for you guys next year already. I'm very excited about it. I think it is going to elevate my show a little bit more. I think that every guest that I do have on here has great value to offer you. They're doing great things. They're successful. They've had some great breakthroughs, and I don't think that any one guest is better than the other. However, I am aiming to get some bigger, noticeable, and recognizable names, because you know what the game is. You know, you want to get some people who have bigger names as well, so that you can get more eyes on you, because that's just the name of the game. Once you get somebody who everybody is clicking on and liking and following their stuff and laughing at their content or listening to their music, to come in and be involved in what you're doing, then everybody wants to look at you like, oh, you're dope. Da, 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 da. Where have you been? Well, I've been here for a whole year. You know, some of my videos have 100 views, some of them have 50, some of them have 60, but I've been here consistently, and it only takes one. It only takes one, y'all. So just do the work. Just trust the process. At the end of the day, trust the process. The process is your happy place. The process is the fun part of it. It is. It really is. You know, it may not be fun, or it may not feel fun, but if you change you shift your paradigm, look at it differently, know what you're doing it for. And if you do that and you look at it differently, you won't be discouraged when things don't go how you envision them right now, because it will in the end. You just got to keep going, stay consistent, because it only takes that one opportunity. You know, I was blessed to interview Michael Blackson this year. Great interview, really enjoyed it. I went in a different direction. I didn't have him, busting funnies, cracking jokes the whole entire time. I had a real conversation with him, which is what my aim was, and I think I accomplished that. I think he appreciated that, because on every interview, he's telling jokes, So he really got to just be himself and talk like a regular person about some things that were passionate to him. Talked about Coming to America, the new movie that he's going to be in. Talked about that. Talked about what his lineup would be if he had a 2020 Kings of Comedy tour. He broke down what a good comedy show consists of, as far as like the lineup. Who's the opener? Who's the closer? Who's in the middle? Who has this strong point? Who has that strong point? And why everybody matters. And it's not just a star of a show. Everybody matters. Everybody is the star. Everybody makes the show what it is. Everybody makes that experience what it is. So yeah, man, it was just a great interview. Really enjoyed his energy. And I actually went out and seen him live. I think it was like one of his first shows back during COVID, when he came out here in Atlanta. Went out there, supported him, you know what I'm saying? Went backstage, a little bit, took pictures or whatever. Yeah, man, just tried to build a relationship. I can't say that I know the man or anything like that, but it's a stepping stone. You know what I'm saying? It's a stepping stone in the right direction to where I'm going. because I want my talk show. I'm going to get my talk show. And I don't just want to interview celebrities. I want a talk show where I'm helping people on national television. You know what I mean? Being able to dive into their minds, hear their stories, being able to encourage them, inspire them, maybe open up some doors for them, to do some charity, stuff like that. So that's what this is all about. I'm not on here to be famous. If that comes with it, with the territory, so be it. But I'm on here to provide value to you, to the end user, to the viewer, and I can't do it without you guys. So just understand, I don't take this for granted. I get on here every Tuesday. Let me sip my little drink real quick. I get on here every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. sharp, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time sharp, to give you the value, to bring you good conversation, good guests, great value. And I hope you take something away from that. And I'm passionate about it. This is what I love to do. I'm an actor and I'm a host. I talk. I dive into people's minds, into their lives, bring the best out of them, make them feel comfortable, and we just kick it. On my show, we really are just kicking it. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing formal. We're just kicking it. I like to make people feel comfortable so they can open up, relax, be transparent, and provide you good value. And then just allow them to, talk about themselves. It's too, people like to talk about themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. Celebrate your celebrate your accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? Your successes. So there's nothing wrong with that. And if they can be a tool for you to catapult you in the right direction, or be a catalyst along your journey, why not? Let them. So yeah, hold on, y'all. I'm getting a call. I think it's regarding my interview. Oh, give me 1 second. Hey, what's up? I'm live on the air. What's going on? I'm live right now talking to you. What's up? Oh, she's up. She's here. She's ready. Hold on. Let me see if I can get. Hey y'all, I think my guest is ready and available. Tell her to call me. She can't call me. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh no, listen, hey, tell her if she has to cancel, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, I'm gonna hit her up. All right. Well, look, tell her to accept the invite though. She didn't accept the invite on Skype. Yeah, she gotta accept that, or it's not gonna call her. All right, cool. All right. Okay. Bye-bye. Hey y'all, I think we're about to have an interview. And I, hope you didn't get tired of me talking, but I just wanted to kind of dive in, tell y'all where I'm at, what I'm thinking, with this new year coming up. But we're gonna try to get her on here and see what's going on. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, let's get this interview going. Let me try to get her in here, so y'all just bear with me. She has to accept the Skype, and then we can get her going. So we can dive into her life, see what she's talking about. She's got some books out, y'all. She's an inspirational speaker, motivator. She's doing great things in her community. So as soon as I can get her on this Skype thing, we can get her on here and we can get her to talking. Yes. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm trying to get her on here, y'all. I don't see her yet. I don't see her yet. But anyway, like I said, I do this because I'm passionate about it. And I have fun doing it. I have fun showing up. Even if no one watches, each week, day in and day out, week in and week out, if nobody watches, I'm still going to be here because I love to do this. So if you have a passion and you love to do it, just do it. Don't worry about who's watching. Don't worry about who's liking, who's commenting, or anything like that. Don't worry about that. because that doesn't matter. What matters is the work you put in and the passion and love you have for it. You really have to trust the process and see the end goal. See the end goal. And then once you finally reach that end goal, create another goal, more goals to keep you going. It's the process, y'all. It's the process that's the meat of it. It's the process that makes it fun, that makes it worth it. You learn so much during the process. You become an expert during the process. Nobody says you have to know what you're doing when you start doing it. Just do it. You'll learn along the way. As long as you're not a fool and can, continue to, or you don't learn from your mistakes. Trust the process. I'm telling you, the process will set you free. It will set you free. Believe me, it will set you free. All right. I listen, man. I don't worry about who's watching. I don't worry about who's liking, who's commenting. I post what I post on Instagram or whatever. I'm about to jump into this Clubhouse thing. Get on there and start running my mouth too. People tap in, cool. If they don't, cool. I'm still gonna do what I do what I love to do. So just do what you love to do. Have a passion for what you're doing. Find your passion. If you don't even know what your passion is, figure that out. You got to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? You're insane if you continue to do something that you don't love to do it. I mean, we all got to work 9 to 5s or whatever until you can figure things out. But if you're going to settle for the 9 to 5, but that's not your passion. Some people like to work. Some people like to go to work. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if that's not your passion and you have a burning desire to do something different, even if you just have a burning desire to do something different and you don't know what your passion is, you got to figure it out. You can't stay there. You cannot stay there. I'm telling you. Let me see if she's on yet, y'all. See if we can get going here. Let me see if I can get her in, if I can bring her in, y'all. Get this interview going. Nope, I don't see her yet. I don't see her yet. Let me try. Let me see. Nope. Well, listen. Find your happy, man. Find your happy. Find your peace. Find your passion and go for it. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions or anything like that. I don't do it. I reflect on where I've come, where I've been, and where I'm at. You gotta appreciate where you are. The little things. Don't be so driven to get to the next level, to get to the next step, and you just surpass or overlook everything that you've accomplished and where you are right now. You got to enjoy life day by day. You cannot, because you won't ever enjoy life, because you're always striving to get to that next level. Nothing's ever enough. And even though you haven't reached your end goal, and I hate saying end goal because there's no end, you got to keep striving for greatness and setting goals. But even if you haven't gotten there, you have to appreciate each day, because guess what? Tomorrow you might not be here. And then you didn't enjoy any of it. You neglected your family. All of that. Let me see. Hold on. Calling in, y'all. Think we got a call in. Oh. Won't pick up. Skype is tripping. Hold on. Let me get her back up. There we go. Let's go. Let's get her on the line, y'all. Let's get her on the line. There we go. I think we're in business, y'all. It's okay. What's going on? I'm doing well. I've been here running my mouth. I let everybody know that, you're supposed to be on the show, and you might have some technical difficulties, but I don't understand you had a family emergency. We don't have to talk about that, but I appreciate you, coming on in. All right, cool. So I'm looking here. So we're going to start this off right. I got a whole intro laid out for you, and I got to bring you in the right way, y'all. I got to bring you in the right way. All right. So we're going to go to the intro, then we're going to get back and we're going to jump into the interview. How about that? All right, cool. Now, let me ask you this before I do this. Are you on a phone? Cool. I was going to tell you, hit that do not disturb, because if a call comes through, it's going to cut you off. All right, here we go. All right. Hello and welcome to the show, Rebecca.
Thank you.
I know this is you have some last minute things going on, and it was hard for you to come on the show. So I do really appreciate you making it. And I don't even want to say keeping your word, because things happen, and I understand. Like I was telling Michelle, you know, if you couldn't make it, you couldn't make it. We'll figure it out. But you're here.
We're good. We're good. Yes, we're good.
You're good. You're good. All right, cool. Inspirational speaker, author of children's books.
Thank you.
Where does this all come from? Where does this all come from? How are you juggling this?
Man, it comes from just, pulling from my own inspiration. But writing has always been like therapeutic for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then becoming a mother and having my own children, it's always been like an extra layer.
Okay.
So that's I was able to bring it all together in 2017, and 3 years later, I'm here.
Wow. So basically, what made you say, okay, I have a love for this, and this is what I want to do?
Yeah.
I want to empower people.
Yeah. So to be honest with you, I struggled reading as a child. I was actually in remedial reading.
Okay.
Third grade to be exact, I was in remedial reading. So, and my mother was an educator. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to tutoring for reading, yet my mother's in education.
Right.
So I came from a household where, education was like priority. But so as a child, I definitely struggled. But once I became a mother, I was like, there is an importance in reading and books, and my kids are very smart, and I like reading to them. So I was like, I need to give them some material that they can identify with, some material that look like them. So
absolutely,
it all came together, and I'm just glad that I followed my passions to complete, the mission, and I'm gonna continue writing books that empower children. And to be honest with you, I've come across some adults that that get inspired as well. So I'm just excited that my message is able to reach people.
So Witty Kids Club, Witty Kids, it's when imagination talks to you, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you have 2 books out.
Yeah.
What's the name of the books, and where can people find them?
Yeah, so the first book, so Witty Kids, When Imagination Talks to You, that's the series.
That's a series, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I should have had the books right next to me.
Oh, you good. I got the links in the description, so they can go get them on Amazon, which everyone should.
Thank you.
For sure.
So Witty Kids, When Imagination Talks to You, that's the series. But the first book is titled I Dream to Be.
Okay.
And the second book is titled Austin's Reading Adventures.
Okay. Cool. Now, I got a question for you. So these books, our children can identify with what the characters in there, right?
Yes.
So would you encourage white families to read these books so that their children can identify with us and be comfortable around our children?
Absolutely. So although my book series is tailored to Black households and Black families and Black children, but it's important for other demographics to also read the books because it's diversity. It lets children see other images in a book.
Right.
It gets kids familiar with other images, because when you're just looking at one images, in your mind, you're thinking, okay, that's what this is supposed to be. But the more diverse literacy that you see and read, kids start to pick up on, and it's like, okay, all right, there's differences in the world. And so also, yes, white families need to see that.
Yeah, definitely. So how are you, I'm gonna hold that question for later. This is what I want to know. You told us the background of it.
Yeah.
So what would you say is more in this equation that I'm about to lay out for you? Witty Kids Club and you speaking to women, not even just you speaking to women, let's stay on kids. Was it more derived out of need, love and passion, or the curiosity of child development?
I'll rank those in order. So love and passion was the very first aspect that I had in mind of the reason I wanted to deliver. It was love and passion. It was a love and passion. Like I said, as a child, I struggled as being a reader, and I knew that I had a very big imagination as a child. That's where the whole theme came from. It came from my childhood.
Right.
And writing was like my outlet. So it was love and passion because of those things. That was the first thought process. And then the second process was the encouragement part.
Okay.
Like I said, because I know what it's like to like, for writing to be your outlet, for you not to be like an outspoken person. I was a very shy child. So my imagination led me to like different places.
Right.
So I wanted to pour that into children that can identify with me and my story. So that was the second part. And then the third part was the first choice that you said, which was a need.
Okay.
There is a need for diverse literacy. There is a need for children to see themselves in books. It's a need for that representation to be had.
Right.
The need was the third. It was on the lowest end.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think children that look like us need to have that representation in books and literature, with kids doing great things, kids doing astronomical things, extraordinary things that they only can dream about right now, as a child, but they see these children doing these things and knowing that it's possible. Right?
Yeah.
So for you, and what would you say, how do you connect with a child's imagination? Like, how do you do that? Like, for you as a writer, how do you feel is the best way to connect to these children, to their imagination, and to show them that there's endless opportunity, there's endless goals, there's endless, you know what I'm saying? There's endless dreams that you can actually accomplish.
Yeah.
How do you connect those dots?
For me, my writing process was, and I'm not sure if you read the book or not, but
I have not.
For I Dream to Be, I made sure that I laid out 10 to 11 different occupations.
Okay.
Have low number of minorities for blacks. So I did veterinarians. I did astronauts. We cannot, well, at least I could not, at the time when I was writing, I couldn't name at least 5 black veterinarians. I couldn't name 5 directors. I couldn't name 5 astronauts. So my thought process in writing that was, I want to give kids an idea of what this imagination would look like if they aspired to be this occupation.
Okay.
And in the text, I said, okay, well, I want to get their minds rolling a little bit. So I'll say, I dream to be an astronaut, right? Mm-hmm. So now they're thinking of themselves as being an astronaut. And then I'm saying, if this dream came true, I imagine I would go into space. And so that's just one example. And that's how I stimulate their imagination, because I'm giving them how to think about this. I'm giving them examples of what it would look like if they were an astronaut. And I'm just using that as an example. So that's just one way that I get kids and even adults, because we lose our imagination. Older, we start working a corporate job for 10 years, but we went to school for something totally different.
Yeah.
And then by the time you look up, you've spent 20, 30 years on a job, but you had aspirations to be something else.
Absolutely.
So I mean, really, imagination, it's no age to it. You can, of course, it inspires the kids because you want them to dream big and you want them to go as far as their imagination can take them. Mm-hmm. It also touches adults because it makes you think like, dang, I remember when I was a child, I wanted to do this.
Right.
But yet I'm doing this. And so, I don't know. I do my very best to just give people that extra oomph in them, to just be like, don't forget about the things that that move you and that are, you know, that your passions just pull from. Like, don't forget about that at all. And it's never too late to reach back.
Yeah. And I think as far as like when, you know, you're talking about adults, you know, and using their imagination and just dreaming big, I think a lot of us, not me, but I think a lot of adults suppress it. I mean, I got a very colorful mind. But I think a lot of adults suppress it because, you know, they're like, people will make them feel like it's childish to dream big. You know what I'm saying? Or to just dream about some things that aren't even fathomable. God, I can't even talk right now. By others. But just because they can't think of, you know, they can't dream that big doesn't mean you have to crush your dreams or suppress your dreams. But I think that happens a lot, especially people in corporate America. You know, you kind of get into that machine and it just, man, it buries you, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I was once that person. I did corporate America for more than 10 years. And I'm sitting at the desk and I'm still sitting on my dreams and my desires. And luckily, I started writing my books while I was working in corporate America.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's never really too late.
And that's what you have to do. You just got to jump out there and start, you know, and along the way, you're going to figure out day by day. It's going to get a little easier and a little clearer on how you're going to depart from that 9 to 5. You figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And nobody says it's easy. Yeah. Nobody says it's easy. Like years ago, like I think 2014, you know, I just took a chance. I jumped out there. I said, God, let me soar. And, you know, I was doing my thing for, I work a corporate job now.
Okay.
Right? But it was for a plan. It was for a purpose. And it won't be forever. And it was my choice.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go back. It was a choice. It was a move. It was a chess move for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now that move is complete. I thought, you know what I'm saying? What I sought out to do, I accomplished that now. So now it's time for me to, you know what I mean? But it was a move for me. But when I was out there doing my own thing, at first, it was, you know, it was a little like, I got to figure things out. You know, I got family, I got this, I got that. Because that's the crutch for everybody. I got to keep this job. I got these bills. I got kids. I got family. But guess what? If you are married, you have a spouse, whatever, get with your spouse. Y'all come up with a plan.
Yeah.
Figure some things out, because I'm telling you, once you take that leap of faith and you get out there, day by day, it gets easier and easier, because now you know how to maneuver. You know how to create opportunities for yourself. You know what to do. Man, when you jump out there, take that leap of faith, I promise you, it's like a bird's eye view.
Yeah.
Because everything is at your grasp.
Yeah.
Because guess what? It has to be, because you got to figure it out.
Exactly. That's the key.
You know what I'm saying? You have to figure it out. So now it's like you're getting really creative. And every day you're coming up with different ways and seeing different opportunities to just sustain and then to elevate. And it really gets easier.
It does. It really does. But the hardest part is to start.
The hardest part.
People get stuck on the, you know, the what ifs and the doubts and the, you know, what if I fail? What if I don't have what it takes?
Right.
Or I don't have all the equipment, or, you know, like I need to go to school, I need to take some classes.
Yep.
And people get stuck in that gray area.
Yep.
I mean, when I started writing, I didn't personally know not one author. And I didn't really do a whole lot of research on the business of publishing.
Right.
I just knew I had this passion, and I said, I love writing. I loved the message that I wanted to give to children. And I just said, I'm just going to do it.
And you did it.
And I did it.
And you did it.
And I had to learn along the way, for sure.
Yeah. And one thing is for sure, what I've known and what I've learned is that when someone asked me, when I was out there, even now, I can't tell them how. People will be like, how did you do it? How are you sustaining? You can't really tell them how.
Yeah.
You're just doing it. You just know what works for you, because what works for me is not going to work for you.
Right.
Your situation, your bills and all that are different than mine. So you can't tell me. You can't write up, you can't show me a blueprint of, do this, Monday do this, Tuesday do it. You can't do that for me. I can't do that for the next person, because it's all different. But you know. So until somebody all you can coach them on is saying, have some faith in God, have some faith in yourself, plan your exit strategy, and it may not go as planned, but just get that courage, take that leap of faith and do it and figure it out. And hey, you may fall flat and you may have to run back to corporate America, but guess what? You did it.
Right.
And guess what? You could probably now do it again. It's going to be easier because you did it once. You know how it feels. Like I tell people all the time, and you know, God forbid somebody hears this where I work, but I tell people all the time, I go to work every day. I'm not in fear of losing my job.
Okay.
That's not something you can hang over my head like, oh, I'm a fire. You can't do that to me. Because guess what? I've already taken care of mine and myself on my own. I figured that part out. I can go do it again. I'm here because I want to be here. Right now.
Right.
It's part of a plan. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah.
That's the part where like new entrepreneurs, like they can't see past that just yet. You know, because they're dependent on, you know, that job or that income or that stability, or they're dependent on it because like I said, I was once there. So, but now that I was there and then I have left and I have been a full-time entrepreneur for a year. I just might get back to corporate America, you know, one day, you know, because, you know, it's life.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm not gonna have that cloud over my head like I'm stuck.
Nah, because you're not.
I'm not stuck.
You've already figured it out. And listen, I told somebody this before. Somebody I was talking to, and they were just saying, you know, corporate America, they hate their job, whatever, and they have dreams, they want to do this. And I'm like, well, listen, gone are the days. The days are gone of being a starving artist. For what? Why would you do that to yourself? How are you gonna pay to publish your books?
Right.
You know, if you needed that income, how are you gonna pay to do this? How are you gonna pay for promotion? How are you gonna pay? Like, sometimes you need to go back to work to let it fuel your dreams. And then once it's time to step away, you step away. It's all about planning. It's being strategic. Yeah. It's being an adult.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, a lot of people don't know how to be strategic because, you know, I understand when you have that fire, you're just ready to jump out and you're just ready to, okay, I'm ready to do it. But then there's no plan behind it.
There's no plan. There's no plan. I'm telling you, listen, when I used to do music, and there was a while where I was a starving artist, and I thought like that. I was like, man, I can't go to work. I can't get this type of job because it's gonna tie my days up, this and that. I'm like, stupid. You do shows at night. You go to the studio at night. Full work during the day, get money, be able to pay for the studio. You know what I'm saying? Instead of hustling, trying to get the studio time, studio money, whatever. Like, fool, go to work. Calm yourself down.
Yeah.
Set a plan. And go do what you got to do. It's not going to block your dreams. People got to understand that. Don't be a starving artist. You still need a quality of life. And especially as creatives, how can you get new, positive, and I mean bad experiences, you know, create good stuff too, right? But how can you have good new experiences all the time being broke? Or not being able to just survive and feed your family and take trips and go out to restaurants or whatever. Those are just everyday experiences that spark creativity.
Yeah.
But if you're just struggling and I'm broke and I can't eat, how?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that people haven't shot to stardom or successful just being broke or whatever. But I guarantee you they did something. Even they were selling dope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They were getting money somehow. Their conditions might not be what they wanted them to be. They were getting money somehow. Because how are you going to do anything without any type of money, any type of income? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just said, like, utilize that. Utilize the opportunity to even have a job if you can get a job, to fund your dreams, shift your paradigm, figure out and understand, hey, why am I here? Don't dread getting up, going to work every morning. Understand why you're there, and all that dreading and stuff, that'll go out the window because it's like, okay, I got a mission.
Right.
This is part of my plan. I'm going to clock in. I'm going to take this money from somebody else who accomplished their dreams, and I'm going to go and build mine.
Yeah. That comes with the mindset for the people who are doing it because of their passions.
Yeah.
it's really a desire in them to give back, or so if that's one focus area, and then the other focus area, they might be doing it just because it's a trend, or they might be trying to just get money fast, or they might want it because they see it's moving and they want to hop on that board. And the people who have the passion and really desire, I feel like, me personally, I feel like they overthink the how to, and they don't really do the strategy part. They don't really say, okay, I'm gonna work at this job for a couple of months, save a certain amount of money so that I, register my business, or that I can, get some consultation to understand how to do things right from A to Z.
Right.
Those are the people who really take things in the direction of fulfillment, something that's gonna actually last for a long time. But the people who just trying to get on board and just be like, yeah, I'm just trying to do this because I see everybody else doing it, and so those are the people that
there's no
jump into it a little.
And there's no strategy, there's no love, there's no passion, and 9 times out of 10 you're not gonna be successful. You don't love it. It just looks cool because somebody else is doing it. It looks cool while somebody else is doing it. You thought they look cool doing it, and there's good money in it. And if you're just chasing that check and no love, that check's probably never gonna come unless somebody really just hands it to you and says, come along with me, ride my coattail, and I'll get you paid. But if that doesn't happen, if there's no passion, you're probably more than likely gonna waste your time, probably waste years out of your life, and then give up on it because you didn't love it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people do that. They just try to ride the trend. They thought it was cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people like that doing music too. There's a lot of kids that do that now because it looks cool. They want to rap.
Of course, and it's trendy, and it, social media just plays a big part on influence for the younger generation. Everybody wants to be insta famous and known for something.
Yeah.
A lot of the younger generation, they really don't even know themselves.
They don't. And they're learning everything through Instagram, and they think everything is real on Instagram. Like, I really think if your child has a cell phone and you allow them on Instagram, you need to sit them down and really have a heart-to-heart with them about what goes on Instagram, what type of images they're gonna see, what type of videos they're gonna see, and always give it a second thought. Don't just take it for face value, because a lot of people are lying on Instagram. A lot of people are dressing it up, on Instagram. And I'm telling you, listen, this show was derived out of that kind of thinking. Because there's people that do go on Instagram, or there's people that see the things on Instagram and think that it's all true, think that it's all fact, and they want that. And there's nothing wrong with having a desire to want, or be better, or do better, or have better, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with wanting to be successful. But understand that don't let it play on your mind. Don't let it depress you, thinking that everybody out there is getting it but you, because everybody's dressing it up. No, they just know how to dress it up a little bit better than you do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They do. And when I speak to middle school or high schoolers, or even college students, I tell them, because Instagram and like Facebook, those apps aren't going anywhere no time soon.
Nowhere.
Right? And so the only message that I can give back to them is just say, if you're gonna spend time on Instagram, that's fine, but don't let that be your only source to pull from.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking for information, utilize, YouTube University is a big, a big platform, but just don't let those social media apps be your only source of knowledge. It's okay to go to the library. It's okay to go to Barnes and Noble and get a book and read on what you're trying to learn.
Absolutely.
It's okay to know somebody in that industry, hit them up and ask them for like a 30-minute phone call just to see what their ups and downs or their failures or their success stories were about.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest message that I can give to that younger generation, is just to, like I said, the Instagram, the TikTok, all these apps that kids love. It's hard to prevent them from going on these sites.
Yeah.
Just don't let that be the only place you pull from. Get inspiration from other places.
Yeah.
if you're using the internet, just do some Google searches and do your own research to know for yourself
Exactly.
before you hop on a trend, or just learn.
Yeah.
Just like don't take it from a post that's only gonna give you 3 sentences and you run with it. Like,
Yeah.
do your own research so that you can find out if this is something that you really are interested in or you want to put your time into.
Right.
And just be yourself, be a leader. Like, I have 2 daughters and my oldest is 12. My biggest message that I install on her is just that be a leader.
Yeah.
Like, I know you got friends. I know my oldest, she don't have Instagram, and I'm gonna try to hold on to that as long as possible.
For real.
It's not
You better.
But she does have TikTok, and I understand TikTok is fun, all the little cute little videos and stuff like that. But you have to be a leader at the end of the day.
Yeah. Be a leader and be curious.
Yeah.
Question everything. Second guess everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to. You got to second guess everything. These kids have to second guess everything, because if not, they're going to get led astray, led in the wrong direction, believe anything,
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to be a lawyer out here, man.
And we have to push that message, because I understand that entertainment is really big, and the kids like entertainment. They want to be YouTube bloggers and vlog, and everybody wants their face on like a screen.
Right.
Like, it's okay to be a doctor,
Yeah, exactly. It's okay. Like I was, man, listen, before you came on, I was just talking about that. I was like, it's okay to be normal.
It's okay.
Everybody doesn't have to be a star. It's okay to work a 9 to 5. If that's what you like, just go do that.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's hopping on that trend. Oh, I kind of like being a veterinarian, but my friend is doing this and rapping and getting all these fans and likes and stuff. That kind of looks cool. That's enticing. Let me go do that. Yeah. And this is getting off subject, but I just want to touch on this too. This needs to be said, right? This needs to be said. So I'm on Instagram, right? Mm-hmm. And say I'm following somebody who does something. I don't know, whatever. But it's a female, right? Following just for the following, for the, supporting, right? And they're wholesome. They dress nice, right? They do their post. Got a nice dress on, jeans, shirts, whatever. And then just somewhere along the way, you start seeing less and less and less clothes on the post. And it's so obvious. And I'm just like, damn, you two, like you start, now you're doing thirst trap shots, photos, you're posting thirst trap pics because you seeing all these other girls getting this attention and it was tugging on you and you bit the apple. You had to do it. You had to do it. You were doing fine with your clothes on, and now all of a sudden, every other picture is a thirst trap pic with your ass out. Excuse my language.
Yeah, a lot of people fall victim to that. They do.
Yeah.
They see how it's moving, and if you're looking for that attention, that's what social media is.
That's what it is. God.
But you got to be focused. You got to have a mission in mind. And again, it goes back to being a leader. And if you're a leader and you have a mission and you know what your purpose is, then you're not gonna fall in those traps of what looks like attention or trying to be in that popular contest. You won't fall into that.
Yeah, but that fame is a drug, man.
I can believe it.
Being popular is a drug to people. Like it calls them.
Yeah.
Even before they get a taste of it, it calls them. That's why you start seeing more and more skin on the post. It's like, God, had to do it, huh?
If it ain't bringing in a check, I ain't doing it for likes,
Right. Yeah. I mean, but that's some are chasing that too, though. They start being influencers and this and that and flat tummy tea and all that other stuff. Hey, I guess, if that's what you're doing it for, eventually you get the check, then I guess, but still, that wasn't you, you had no ambition or no desire to do that, but it lured you on in. Yeah, the attention. So listen, let's talk about TED Talks. I know you did the TEDx thing. How was that? How'd that come about for you?
Man, so it's really funny that you asked about that because it's been a year since I did my first TEDx talk,
Mm.
and I'm hoping to get on their volunteer team to
Okay.
help newcomers come on board. But yes, last December I did my first TEDx talk, and it's so funny because I almost said no to the opportunity.
You said no.
Man, you know how big a TEDx talk is.
So you reverted to that shy little girl, huh?
I did. When they called me and were like, hi, may I speak to Rebecca? Yeah, like we've been following your books and we love your brand and we love the message that you push. So, how would you feel about being a TEDx speaker? I was thinking like, y'all sure y'all got the right person? I was just like, yeah, sure. Because normally when you think of TEDx, you think of like these profound like speakers,
Yeah.
and they're on the stage and they're doing this and they're doing that. But then like I let 24 hours go by and I was just like, let me sit and think about my purpose and like my calling. So I was just like, you know what? Yeah, I am this young Black woman who they called on to deliver this message and to get my point across, for my voice to be heard. That is me, and that's why they called me, for a reason. Yep. So I had to own it, and I had to understand like it's a reason why I'm at this table. But at first, I almost did doubt myself because I was thinking like, okay, well, I know I've done a little bit. I know I've published the books, but like, is that enough? And so I'm like, I really had to. Literally for 24 hours, I didn't even go to work that next day. I had to think about like, you know what? No, this is my purpose and I'm going to own it and I'm going to have the confidence behind it. So when I did that talk, I introduced Witty Kids, my children's books, and I talked about the importance of having Black literature in the home and the importance of why children need to see themselves in books and why it's just so important for Black women like myself to show up. And that was like a really turning point for me. And that was a year ago. It was a turning point in business. It was a turning point in me continuing to evolve. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad that I did not say no.
Oh, I'm so glad you didn't either. That's a prime example of, you said something. That's a prime example of you trusting the process. Yeah. You trusted the process. You stuck to the process and didn't even realize where you were at that time. You're like, dang, me?
Yeah.
That's because you weren't looking for the accolades. You were following your passion. You were doing the work. And then you look up and it's like, oh, opportunity, TED Talks. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's what it is. Trusting that process and not chasing the check.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah, trusting the process that's a part of the process.
Exactly.
The first part was me going after my passions and my desires. The second part was me actually executing and starting. So I wanted to write books. And so I started with the children's genre first because I do want to write for women and I do want to speak to a different audience. But because I am a mother, I felt like, the children's genre is something I want to start off with. Mm-hmm. So I executed it with that. And then from there, for me personally, I just wanted to write the books and be behind the scenes, but it doesn't work like that. When you put your passions into the world, when you start to show people, your true desires, then the audience is going to come to you and people are going to want more and they're going to want to know, well, how? What was your journey like? And what made you start?
Exactly.
And I had to get from behind the scenes into being more in front because I'm like, okay, well, maybe my voice is helping somebody. Maybe my shyness, I guess, is helping somebody overcome whatever fears that they might have had.
Yeah.
So by the time I got on that TEDx stage, I was just like, okay, this is really for me right now. And however I need to deliver, I'm going to do it.
The message resonates more when you can physically get out there and touch the people and they can see that you're just like them. Because you, like you said before, you said you had trouble with reading.
Yeah.
So many people out there that you don't know that you pass every single day that have trouble with reading. And you connect with them and they're like, man, you up on this stage and you just like me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're just like me. You had the same struggles and you overcame. Like, that's inspiration. That's God's doing that. You doing God's work right there. You know what I'm saying? That's what God looks like. You know, everybody has this whole debate about God being black, white. Nah, that's what God looks like.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's the doing. It's the love. It's the passion. It's helping other people. You know what I'm saying? And with that note, here's a segue. We're going to go into a quick video of you doing your little TED Talk.
Oh.
And I don't mean little when I say little. That's just a figure of speech. But
No,
doing that TED Talk. Yes. Aren't you so glad you didn't pass on that?
I'm so glad that I did not say no. And you know what? It's funny because Chandra Rhimes, I watch her TED Talk a lot, and the title of her TED Talk was "The Year of Yes,"
Mm-hmm.
and how she said yes to all of her opportunities, even though if she may not have seen, if she wasn't feeling her best or whatever the case is, it was the year of the yes for her.
Yeah.
And so, it made me feel good that I didn't doubt myself and that I didn't shrink myself. And I just did it.
Yeah. And you look relaxed. You look like you belong. You did it. You know what I mean?
I was nervous, but
I'm sure. But hey, listen, just like when you started, you didn't know everything, you didn't know what to do, but you did it. It's all about just being confident. You could be nervous, but just be confident and just do the work. Because a lot of people see people doing things and they're like, man, I wish I could do that. You can do that. They look like they got it all together. No, they don't.
Right.
They're just doing it though. And they're getting it together. So yeah, man, and that's all it takes.
Yeah, that's another thing that I tell anybody that I'm speaking to, like, don't compare yourself to what the next person might be doing, because you have no idea what it took for that person to get there.
Right.
Like, regardless if this person is successful or if they're just starting out, you have no idea what it took. And a lot of times it takes a lot of inner work. You need confidence in order to put yourself out there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's not just the business part of it. It's the mentality. It's the drive. It's the determination. It's the, letting go of the fear and the doubt and other people's opinions. That's work in itself. That's a different process. Like, doing the business, registering your business, promoting yourself, doing the marketing. That's just one part.
Right.
You got to be the best version of yourself. You got to make sure that you're strong enough to even start. You got to make sure that you're disciplined enough. You got to make sure that you are 100% with yourself every day in order to keep going. Because if you're not, and the minute that you fall, or the minute that you fear, or the minute that you doubt, the business part is not going. It's going to go downhill, because your business can't go nowhere if you're not 100%, or if you're not where you need to be. The business not going to take off.
Yep.
And people aren't going to buy into it because you're not taking it as serious. So how you want me to believe in your brand or believe in you when you're not even believing in yourself?
Yeah, and people can always tell. They can always tell.
They can tell.
Just like a dog can sense fear. People can tell when you don't have that confidence.
Yeah.
You can be doing it, but if you're not confident in doing it, they go, I don't believe you. I ain't fooling with you. And that's what it is.
Exactly.
So this is real quick, just for a little nugget for the viewers. You publish your books yourself, right? You got your own publishing. You created a publishing company and you self-publish it, right?
Yes.
How does that work? For people who might be inspired, they might be aspiring to be a writer and just don't know how to get started. How do you publish your books?
Yeah, in order to be a self-published writer, first of all, I want everybody to know that that's a business in itself. Being a self-published author is a business. So you are doing everything from writing. You are finding your own editor. You are finding your own illustrator. Because I have a children's book, so I needed an illustrator. Mm-hmm. You're finding all these people yourself to help you put your book together. And then you have to start the printing process. You have to start contacting companies that will print your book. Mm-hmm. And you have to compare the pricing. You have to compare what kind of book you want. Do you want it to have a spiral bound? Should it be like a flat lay? And just that whole industry alone, you are doing all the work yourself. the benefit of it is that you obviously get to keep all of the royalties, you get to keep all of the fees and all the purchases, you get to keep all that when you self-publish.
Okay.
However, you're doing all the work. So it is really an 8 to 5 type of business because you're putting yourself out there. You're introducing your product to schools, to businesses, to storefronts, to bookstores. You are doing all that yourself when you self-publish. And so for me, I was ready to take on that mission because I did 10 years in corporate. I was used to presenting to managers and CEOs of the company. I was used to that. So I said, if I could do that with them, I could do that for myself too. But for the people that might not have that experience, just know that when you're ready to publish your own book, there's other outlets. Like you can use Amazon or you can use, I think, InSpark or something like that. You can use those companies to publish for you. But still, if you go that route, you can't just publish a book, send it to Amazon, and expect Amazon to do the work. They're not going to sell it for you.
Right.
That's still your business, and you still need to promote it in a way so people know that they need to go to this link. They need to download the ebook.
Right.
But the self-publishing business, I just jumped out into it because I wanted to have ownership of everything.
Okay.
I really didn't know all what that included. I learned along the way, but I would encourage everyone to do a self-published option just so they can understand the ownership piece of it.
And learn the business.
And
learn what it takes.
Yes, publishing industry is a $1 billion industry. I didn't know that, but I know now, and so I can tap into it. But it's nothing wrong with signing on to a publishing company either. But if you're like me and you want to learn the ins and the outs, then self-publishing would be the way to go, at least in the beginning.
So with that said, plug it. Go get those books. The links are in the bio. She put hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, all her, y'all, into these books. Go support that. I got a question for you. Now with illustrations, I always wondered about this. With illustrating a book, especially for children, how do you know what illustrations to use? And then you say you work with an illustrator, so they might not give you what you want. You know what you want, but how do you know which images to use that's gonna resonate with the child?
Yeah. So I hope my illustrator is on this call right now. I hope he is, because me and my illustrator, we went to college together.
Oh, wow.
So my bachelor's degree is in, it's a polytech design degree. So it's a mixture of business and design. So me personally, I took Photoshop, I did AutoCAD. I had to design a website for myself, for my portfolio in order to graduate. So I do have a design background. And, my work was pretty good. I was pretty proud of it. But my illustrator, I always felt like his work was really, really good. So I said, you know what? I'm going to always keep him in mind. His name is Chris House. I said, I'm going to keep him in mind if I ever do anything. And so after college, I ended up doing an internship at a design company. And such a coincidence, me and him ended up working at this design company together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's called Incosi. It's in St. Louis. It's changed the name, but it's in St. Louis. And so I was like, man, Chris is really good. He's really good. So, fast forward, whenever I said I'm going to write a children's book, he was the very first person that I called because I knew how talented he was. Yeah. And I wanted that work to be in my book. And so for me, because I'm so passionate about Witty Kids, I knew exactly the mission that I wanted. I knew what my characters needed to look like. I knew that the little black girl, Jersey, I knew that she needed to have big hair and big features. Her nose and her glasses and her freckles and her lips and her ears, I needed everything to just stand out a little bit because that's what my daughters look like. And so I didn't want to dumb down anything. I didn't want to dumb down any of their features. And I wasn't ashamed to show that in a creative way.
Right.
And same with the young boy, Austin, his look, he has a part in his haircut, and he has a nice little funky haircut with a fade and like a jacket and jeans. That's what my nephews look like. So it was important for me that I show that they can read a book, that looks like them. And to this day, my nephew, he loves it. He's always like, I look like Austin. And that's the message that I wanted to get across. I wanted little black boys to say, I look like him.
So it's like a vision. It's so, because like with music, you know when you're creating a song, you hear it already. You hear it before it's done. You know what you want. So it's just a vision. So I guess for writers and authors, you have that vision already. It just comes to you. You know what your message is, and that vision comes to you. Is that correct?
It's the same. It's the same process. Because whether you're an artist, whether you're an entertainer, or whether you're a writer, it's you're a visionary. And it's a creative process because you're thinking about it, and then you're trying to figure out, well, how do I go from my mind to what people actually see or read? And so it's the same process.
Okay.
I knew for a fact I wanted my characters to look a certain way, and so I wouldn't have it any other way.
All right. Now, as far as outside of selling your book on Amazon and online, and matter of fact, drop your website real quick.
Yeah, so it's wittykidsclub.com. So it's www.witty, W-I-T-T-Y, kidsclub.com.
Y'all go check that out. And I think she has some clothes on there and stuff too, right?
Yes, I have merchandise. I have journals. I also have pillows and pads. Yeah, it's a nice collection of things.
So y'all make sure you go shop. Okay? Shop, support, go to the website. It's all down below. Do that. Okay? Absolutely. Yeah. Now, real quick, I was going to say, outside of promoting it on websites, how else are you engaging with the children? How else are you getting it to the children? Are you part of book clubs, school reading programs? I think you did say that you do speak at some schools and stuff like that. Like, can you talk about that?
Yeah. So outside of promoting on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and my website, before COVID,
right.
Before COVID, I was going into the schools. I was doing author visits at elementary schools, middle schools, and I even did 2 entrepreneur classes for colleges.
Okay.
I was definitely moving around at least a few times a week in the schools. I was going to daycares. I was showing up for book clubs and after school programs. Okay. I'm also in bookstores.
Dope.
That's another thing for when you're self-published, you have to put your own self in bookstores. So, you got to contact these stores like, hey, I got this book. Are you interested? And you start the dialogue. You have to introduce yourself. But now that COVID has happened, I've been doing like virtual readings online. Just these type of interviews like we're having right now. And just connecting with as many authors. Now is the time, like we're virtual, so kids are at home. And so what better way, to read a book online like this,
Right.
But so it's been going pretty well virtually for me, just as well as it would if I was in person.
Okay. 2 things. Have you joined that new social app, Clubhouse?
I am on Clubhouse.
Okay. I got to go find you on there, follow you on there. Okay, good. Because I was saying you should start a room. If you haven't already done that, start a room. Connect with other authors.
I have not started a room yet.
Okay.
That's a good idea. I've just been jumping on other people's rooms, just trying to get a feel for it. And Clubhouse, I like it because it gives people just that extra platform to give knowledge,
to really connect firsthand, and you have access to people that you wouldn't normally have access to and really hear them talking, because once somebody gets to talking, they're going to keep talking. Once you get somebody talking, they're going to keep talking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're going to get some gems that you probably couldn't have gotten.
Exactly.
You're not going to get it on Instagram, unless they go live and do it. But how often does that happen,
Yeah. And
then,
the thing with Instagram, their algorithm is all off. And so, sometimes I don't see my friend stuff till like 5 days later. And, I like Clubhouse because you can literally name your group, I don't know, authors only.
Yep.
And whoever is an author, whoever's interested can connect with you that way.
Yep.
You just gave me an idea. Thank you.
Yeah. Listen, I'm on there too, and I've been so busy over the holidays, and I was gone and stuff like that. Like I haven't really gotten on there and done what I want to do, but I'm gonna get on there, get a room going too. Actually, 2 rooms. I got 2 ideas. I definitely got one that's gonna jump off. The other one, I'm still putting that together. But yeah, you definitely got to get on there, connect. It's an awesome way to just connect with people, even get you following up. People learning more about what you're doing. And then secondly, have you ever thought about, and I don't know if you have it or not, a YouTube channel where once you drop a book, get on there and read it like you're reading it to some children, because families will find you and play it for their child.
So I do have the channel set up. I just don't have a lot of content on it.
Okay.
So I currently have Witty Kids Club on YouTube. So if anybody wants to follow, you can. And more videos will be to come. So the Witty Kids Club on YouTube, it is there.
I'm gonna go and follow you.
Okay.
Go subscribe right now on air. And
then the She's Back, which would be my personal account. Both of those accounts are on YouTube. Just waiting for the content to be delivered on it. Witty
Kids Club. I'm gonna go find you. Let me subscribe. Is that you? Don't scroll. No, that's not it. There you go. I see you. Hold on. I see you. And I subscribe.
Thank you. So there's 2 videos on there. So Witty Kids is a book. It's a book series. It's a club. So I'm stationed in Dallas right now, but I'm from St. Louis, and Witty Kids originated in St. Louis 3 years ago. And so outside of the book, my mission was also to create community events.
Okay.
And 2018 and 2019, I hosted holiday events. So I had the Witty Kids holiday event, and it was an event to celebrate literacy and family. And I had, pictures with Black Santa, hot chocolate, coloring contest. It was a book signing. So I did that 2 years in a row. And so those are the videos that you'll see on the website.
Okay.
This was in my 3rd year, but because of COVID, I had to obviously not have an in-person event. But there's so much more for Witty Kids that'll be coming in the future, and I'm just, I'm looking forward to it to keep my mission going.
Okay, I'm gonna be waiting for those videos on YouTube. Also, too, do closed captioning when you do it, so that the kids can read along too.
Okay.
They're listening, they're reading along. Yeah. And that helps with the algorithm on YouTube as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for whatever reason they like that. I don't do it for mine, but whatever. Yeah, it does help with the algorithm for people to find your videos, and it'll rank it higher.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I probably should start doing that. So I asked you this earlier kind of in general, but can you give any tips to parents on how to kind of stimulate their child's mind and know that there's endless possibilities out here? Because some kids put up roadblocks with their parents because they don't want to listen to the parent. They'll listen to somebody else before the parent. They'll listen to you talk about your book or talk about being great, or the teacher talk about being great. But when the parent starts, it's like, all right, mom, all right. You know what I mean? Like, can you give any tips on how they can stimulate their mind or imagination?
The best thing that I would tell parents is to, 1, take away the screen time. I obviously know that we're all, some kids are still virtual at home. So unless it's for school, that's fine. But outside of that, really, really try your best and focus on reducing the screen time.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Take away the screen time. The second thing is you'd be amazed at what you can find around your house to stimulate kids. At any age, whether it's babies or whether it's a 5th grader. You'd be amazed at some things that you can find around your home to start to engage their minds.
Yeah.
For example, I have a 5-year-old. So, I'll take pots and pans of different sizes, and I'll tell my little one, place these in order from smallest to largest. Or, I'll have them, I'll put something underneath the pot and I'll move the pots around and I'll say, okay, where was the ball? And so that obviously is making them watch what I'm doing.
Yeah. Get that focus.
To get the focus going.
Yeah.
That does take obviously some parent and child interaction, because I understand I'm a busy mom. So at times I just need to give my kids something to play with and so I can keep working. But just be mindful to try not to give them an electronic.
I know. It's so easy to do it.
It's so easy. So in those times, I give my kid a puzzle. I give them a coloring book. A lot of times, I literally I have a lot of paper. I have construction paper. I just plain white paper. I will give my 5-year-old a stack of paper and 5 markers and just be like, create me something.
Yeah.
Just draw me something. I don't care if it's a ball, a Christmas tree, whatever it is. Just create me something. Just go with what you're thinking in your head.
Yeah.
And it works. That really does work.
Yeah. Get that brain thinking, man. Because I'm telling you, the screen time, their brain just shuts down and they're just locked in on,
And they want to play. I mean, and I understand that, the apps are colorful, they're interactive, they're fun. But, sometimes we really got to give kids the basics. Paper and a pencil. Yep. Paper and pen. And, find some things. My 5-year-old, I'll say, go around the house and find some things that are red or find some things that are blue and bring them back to me and show me what you find. It just gets them exploring. And you'll be amazed that it triggers their imagination and creativity.
Yeah. I really appreciate what you're doing. For children, for women, you're doing great things. Continue to do great things. Continue to be great. Enjoy your New Year's.
Yeah. 2 more days.
Have a great 2021.
Thank you.
Reflect on where you've come from, where you are right now, so you can appreciate that and live in the now. Because a lot of times we are driven to want the next and more and more. We have goals. There's nothing wrong with that. But get that focus, that laser focus, and be able to live in the now and know that you are great and you're doing great things and you're in a great place and God has you right where he wants you.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? And just appreciate it and look back. I like to just reflect at the end of the year. I don't have any New Year's resolutions. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, being great at what I'm doing, trusting the process, and just know where I'm at and see where I've come from and appreciate it. And you know what I mean? Just be grateful for where I'm at because I don't have to be here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, yeah, I really appreciate you. I appreciate your time, too, coming on. I know you had a situation and everything. So I really do appreciate you coming in. I was going to hold it down if you had to reschedule because I was just on here running my mouth. She called me and was like, hey. She wants to call in. I'm like, all right, cool. So,
we're good.
No, I'm definitely grateful for that, like for real. So,
thank you.
You didn't have to.
No.
So, yeah, thank you so much. And I just wish you much success. I'll be praying for you. I'll be following you. I'll connect with you on Instagram and all that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
thank you.
You got a fan. You can't lose me. I'm here. I support.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I'll definitely be supporting you along the way. Anything you want to say, promote before you go?
No, I mean, I'm always on social media. So if any parents or anybody wants to reach out to me, you can reach out to my personal account, She's Beck, or the Witty Kids Club. I'm always on either Facebook or Instagram. I'm pretty easy to find.
And when's your 3rd book coming out? Because you are working on a new book, right?
I am. I'm working on another children's book, and like I said, I'm looking to shift audiences to speak to women. So I'm working on that book as well. So within the next 3 months, I'm going to be dropping some books. Okay.
And if anybody wants to book you for inspirational speeches, hit the website.
Yes, absolutely. Hit the website. WittyKidsClub.com.
All right, Rebecca T. Clark, ladies and gentlemen, episode 55, Kicking It with KoolKard. Thank y'all for tuning in. I thank you for coming on the show. Every Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm here. Hope you guys got some value out of the show. She dropped some gems. very transparent. We kicked it like how I like to do it, just kicking it, being cool. Yeah. So blessings, everybody. Hope you have a happy new year. Hope your Christmas was great. Until next time, I'll see you next year. Peace.
All right. Bye.